Bear Down Report Film Breakdown is brought to you by Jeff Cadwallader with At Properties. Visit GenevaJeff.com to buy or sell your home today. We're going to be looking at some big pressure created by the Bears defense on Sunday's Browns showing featuring Khalil Mack, Robert Quinn, and Mario Edwards Jr. On this opening play here, the Browns come out with their heavy two tight end personnel, and the Bears put their two big D tackles to this side in case there's a big power run this way. If those tight ends try to down block them, they're there and tough to move. They got 6 DBs on the field, kind of creating their umbrella on this 4th and 5 scenario, and Quinn's going to get a big sack here. So as we play it, let's watch the routes being run and the coverage. Just looks like man free as one of the safeties drops back, and they kind of stick onto him. There's your high safety right here. So we got man, man, man. This guy will get latched on to as well, followed by Duke Shelley. Running back gets open. By this time, Robert Quinn hits the sack, and let's figure out how they do that up front. Chicago has all their gaps maintained except for the 2 A gaps where, in theory, Roquan could take both of these. B gap, C gap. Khalil's got this one. Robert Quinn has a C gap. I don't know if it's a busted coverage, not necessarily, but the back leaving the backfield, he might have had to stay in. Probably a mistake on Cleveland's part, and Quinn gets the freebie, and Blackson helps bring him down. This is play 2 where Khalil Mack gets a 4th down sack later in the first quarter. A lot going on here as always. The Browns have got their 3 tight ends. They're always going heavy, 2 or 3 a lot of the times. And they kind of have the receiving running back in who's going to come out to the boundary. Bears have their heavy personnel. They got your 3 D linemen, 4 linebackers, and 4 DBs as well. Looks like maybe a kind of a cover 3 sort of. But what's important is the Browns thought that the Bears would be in man coverage, and they actually hold this cornerback down here, so maybe some kind of cover 2 to this half of the field is the best I can surmise. So they get Beckham to try to run it off. As you'll see, Beckham kind of shoots north, kind of running things off. Njoku's going to kind of run a deep crosser as well. And they have one guy going off the flat, but the Bears have somebody waiting for him as well. So as Baker's kind of going to roll out, Bears have people sitting here. By this time, the pressure gets to him, and Mack's able to get the tackle. If you look at the alignment, we got a nose head up, both tackles in 4 eyes. Kind of hard to run gap with gap schemes like Power and Conner with that, and then you got your 2 linebackers in 30 positions. Mack's off the edge here. They'll kind of do a general boot. That whole line boots out, and as they're booting, Mack's job is to kind of stay and have the edge, and if this back gets released, usually blitz peels and takes him. In this case, he knows he can pass him off, so he's a free shot for the quarterback. Makes a signal, ends up dragging him down. This is play 3, where Mack and Quinn collaborate on a sack, making those contracts worth it, right? The formation and personnel is a little more in my wheelhouse personally, or what I'm used to seeing. The Browns are in tray, so basically it's trips with a tight end. Kind of spread things out. Only 1 tight end, which for the Browns is kind of not doesn't happen very often. The Bears got 5 DBs. Looks like they'll be in quarters of some sort. And all the Browns will do is run 4 verticals, basically. As you'll see, vertical, then Beckham will stop on a hitch. Usually the backside safety will take the number 3 receiver on 4 verticals, as you'll see. So we'll let it play. Just watch the back end for right now. If you want to watch the sack, go ahead. You can always replay it. So everybody's pressing vertical. He's going to run a deep cross. And this safety has to come across to get him. And he won't cover him, even though Baker's not looking at him. And Eddie will spin to be the high safety. So it's almost like quarters of the high safety. Again, I'm not in their playbook. It would almost be logistically easier if Eddie kind of absorbed that as the other quarter safety and Bush went high, but that was the call beforehand. So they kind of do what was said. And everybody gets covered, and Baker has to take the sack. Here's the other deal. Chubb's going to leave the backfield and try to be a dump-off for Mayfield, and that's not really going to work out. So the Browns are in 5 guys, blocking 4. And as you watch your tackles here, Quinn's going to come around this side. Mac's going to kind of put a move here. Tackle's not really paying attention to him or is trying to help over here. I don't know what he's really doing. And both guys end up, Quinn uses his speed, Mac uses his power, and they kind of converge on him. There you go. Decide down up some pressure. Okay, kids, this is Mario Edwards Jr. time. These last 2 plays. This is play 4, and he'll be in play 5. He's going to come in here like a massive beast and feed Joel Bitonio, a 3-time Pro Bowler, his lunch. He does that on more than one occasion. We'll see it next. You can tell the Browns are passing. This is David Njoku, the tight end, and he does not look like he's going out for a route. So you know he's probably staying into pass pro. We're in the tight shot. Just watch Mario Edwards Jr. in all his glory rip through and take Baker down pretty viciously. To quote Chris Farley, that's awesome. Let's figure out how the Bears force this. The Browns are going to have a bunch over here, but usually you see the tight end kind of closer to that bunch. He's a little closer to the line of scrimmage, which would probably make it seem like he's in pass pro. Eddie Jackson's kind of hanging down here, so they're not in too high completely, and he's going to end up being a robber, which means one of the safety kind of spins really deep and one safety spins down low, but usually they start in too high and then do it. He's kind of already down there. So usually when they're in robber, it's cover 3. Since these guys are vertical and the corners are staying with them, I'm going to guess it's cover 3 robber and take a stab at it. So the corner's taking their guys deep. Eddie Jackson kind of hanging low for robber. This safety really deep. And Baker's looking over here, and he wants to really hit Njoku in the flat, who was pass blocking, then releases out. And as soon as he wants to throw it, Mario Edwards Jr. is all over him. That's a big play. That's on 3rd down and forces a punt. Saving the best for last, Mario Edwards Jr. is going to boss around Bitonio one more time. Browns are in trips to the field, but the tight ends has pretty reduced splits. Got your 2 high safeties, but all 5 down linemen here, so I don't know if they saw this formation and thought maybe it's a possible run. He's going to move the back over and put the 5 down linemen. Definitely stopping the run on this one. So if you just focus on Mario Edwards Jr., he's going to get his hands on Bitonio, shed him, stay vertical up the line. You got to stay vertical on that D line. Don't get upfield or else you just leave a gap for them to run through. Sheds, stays vertical, and knocks the crap out of him. We're going to focus on Edwards here. Same shot, just from the end zone. They're going to kind of run a zone to the left with a little pin pull action from the guard. You know, some technical NFL stuff. Gets his hands on Bitonio right here. Watch him shed. And then stay vertical line. You'll see his helmet go boop. That's how you play a little D tackle. I know the Bears have Akeem Hicks on last year's contract, but don't think it's the biggest deal in the world. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it.